Imagine you are standing alone in a silent room. No one else is there but you. And the fiercest battle you will ever face is not with another person. It is with yourself. Have you ever felt like your own thoughts and feelings are working against you? Have you noticed how easy it is to be your own worst enemy, caught in a storm of doubts, fears, and destructive emotions? What if the true war you fight is not outside but inside? What if the most important victory you can ever achieve is the conquest of your own mind? Imagine a man walking through a busy street. Around him, chaos and noise fill the air. People rush, shout, complain, and panic. But he remains calm. His heart is steady. His mind is clear. Why? Because he understands that the storm outside does not have to be the storm inside. This is the power we seek. This is the strength we all have inside, the strength to control ourselves when everything else is out of control. Welcome to Book Boost. Here, we dive deep into ideas that help you grow stronger every day. If you want to master yourself, if you want to stop being your own enemy, stay with us. Like, comment, share, and subscribe to join this journey of inner power. Your mind is your battlefield, and together, we will learn to win. The great Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." We are not controlled by events, but by the meaning we give them. This means the only true power lies in us, in our thoughts, our choices, and our will. When destructive emotions rise, they only have power if we give it to them. This is the first lesson in the war within. You must learn to control your response. Your mind is a garden. Do you let weeds grow, or do you tend it carefully? Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic master, reminded himself every day, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Strength comes not from avoiding difficulties, but from standing firm when they come. The war inside is ongoing, but every moment offers a chance to choose yourself over your fears. Please drop down your one thought on believe in yourself in the comments. What does it mean to you? How do you fight your own battles? Your voice matters here. And if you want to grow stronger every day with us, subscribe now. This is just the beginning. Imagine your mind is a wild horse, strong and restless. If you do not guide it with firm hands, it will drag you wherever it wants. Left uncontrolled, your thoughts and emotions become like waves crashing over you. Fear, anger, doubt, envy, tossing your soul in every direction. The true challenge is not to calm the sea, but to learn how to steer the ship through the storm. This is the work of mastering the mind. Every day, we are bombarded by events beyond our control. A careless word from another, a sudden failure, an unexpected pain. These things happen. They will always happen. But the difference between those who suffer endlessly and those who live in peace is not what happens to them, but how they manage their own minds. You are not the events you experience. You are the watcher of those events. The power lies in this watching, this choice to respond rather than react. The ancient Stoics taught us that our mind is our most precious possession. Epictetus, once a slave who became a wise teacher, said simply, "No man is free who is not master of himself." To master yourself means to hold your mind in your hands like a torch, to shine light on what matters, and to leave the rest in darkness. This is not an easy task. It requires constant practice, like a muscle that must be exercised daily. But it is the only way to true freedom. We often mistake control for power. We think power means bending the outside world to our will. But the Stoics remind us that this is an illusion. The only power we truly have is over ourselves. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor who ruled great lands, found his greatest strength in the discipline of his own mind. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This strength is quiet but unbreakable. Mastering the mind means to become aware of your thoughts as they arise. It means to observe without judgment, to notice when a negative thought or emotion appears, and to gently guide it away. Imagine sitting by a river and watching leaves float by. Each leaf is a thought. You do not grab them. You do not push them down. You let them pass. This practice, this simple act of watching your mind, begins the process of control. But awareness alone is not enough. You must train your mind to act in accordance with reason. Reason is the light that guides us through confusion and despair. It is the voice that says, "This is what is within your control. This is not." When anger rises, reason asks, "Is this anger going to help me? Is it within my control?" If not, reason gently dismisses it. When fear threatens to paralyze, reason steps in with courage and calm. The Stoics teach us that emotions are not enemies to be destroyed, but signals to be understood and directed. Destructive emotions like anger, jealousy, or anxiety arise because we misjudge what is truly good or bad. We believe that external things, wealth, reputation, or comfort, define our happiness. But happiness, the Stoics say, depends only on virtue, on living rightly. When we see that, emotions lose their grip. Imagine you face a harsh insult. Your first impulse might be to lash out or retreat. But the Stoic pauses. He reminds himself, this insult affects only my reputation if I let it. But his true self, the soul, his reason, remains untouched. He chooses calm instead of rage, understanding instead of hurt. This choice is an act of power, a victory over the self. The journey to mastery is gradual. It requires patience and compassion for oneself. You will stumble. You will give in to temptation and anger. But each moment is a new chance to practice control. Seneca, another Stoic teacher, said, "No man is born wise. Wisdom grows through effort." The effort to return to reason, again and again, builds a fortress around the mind. One way to build this fortress is through daily reflection. Before sleep, ask yourself, what thoughts controlled me today? Where did I lose calm? What can I do differently tomorrow? This simple habit brings awareness and improvement. It is like sharpening a blade. Each day, the mind becomes sharper, clearer, stronger. Control of the mind is also a choice to focus on what is meaningful. The world tempts us with distractions, endless noise, gossip, trivial desires. But the Stoic seeks a higher purpose. He asks, what is truly valuable? What will help me become a better person? This clarity of purpose helps him refuse the shallow and the harmful. Imagine a tree standing alone in a storm. Its branches may bend, but its roots remain firm. The Stoic mind is like that tree. Emotions and events may shake us, but reason and discipline keep us grounded. This strength does not come from avoiding life's challenges, but from meeting them with calm resolve. You may wonder, how do I start mastering my mind today? Begin by noticing one destructive thought or emotion that frequently troubles you. Maybe it is worry about the future, anger at a person, or sadness about a loss. When it arises, do not fight it with force. Instead, step back. Observe it like a stranger passing by. Ask yourself, is this thought true? Is it helpful? Is it under my control? If the answer is no, gently let it go. This practice is simple but powerful. Over time, it rewires your mind. You become less captive to moods and more able to choose your path. The ancient philosopher Chrysippus said, "The beginning of philosophy is the freedom from disturbance." This freedom is not a gift, it is earned through discipline. Remember, you are the guardian of your mind. No one else can fight this battle for you. But you do not fight alone. We all struggle with the same inner storms. This shared journey connects us in the quiet courage to master ourselves. In this struggle, we find our true strength not in wealth, power, or praise, but in the calm, steady control of our own souls. The path of the mind leads to freedom. It frees you from fear, anger, and the endless chase of external things. It frees you to live with dignity and peace, no matter what life throws at you. This is the gift of mastering the mind, the greatest gift you can give yourself. Beyond emotion, how to conquer destructive impulses. We all feel it. That sudden rush. That burning inside the chest. That fire that rises when someone offends us. That sinking feeling in the stomach when something goes wrong. That urge to scream, to react, to break something, or worse, to break ourselves. Anger, fear, envy, shame, sadness. These are the emotions that can rule us, if we allow them to. But ask yourself this, are these emotions truly in control? Or have we simply given them power over us? The Stoics believe that emotions are not enemies, but our understanding of them often is. When a person reacts without thinking, they are not free. They are a slave to every passing emotion, a prisoner to every thought that rises without discipline. This is the true danger. Not what happens to us, but how we let it shape us inside. Seneca once said, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself." The emotions we fear, the pain we avoid, these are the very tools that test and shape us. Without challenge, we cannot grow. But when destructive emotions take over, they do not build us, they blind us. They fill our mind with noise and make us forget who we truly are. Have you ever noticed how emotion clouds your thinking? You cannot see clearly when your heart is shaking. You cannot speak calmly when your chest is burning. And yet, this is the very moment when you must be still, when you must breathe, when you must remember that the emotion is temporary, but the damage you do while in it can last forever. There is a great strength in silence. Not the silence of weakness, not the silence of fear, but the silence of a mind that has learned not to react blindly. That silence is the space between what happens and how you choose to respond. In that space lies all your power. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal, "If you are pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your own judgment about it. And it is in your power to wipe out this judgment now." Think about that. Nothing truly hurts you without your permission. The pain begins when you add meaning to the event, when your mind decides that this moment has the power to break you. So how do we conquer these emotions? We do not kill them. We do not pretend they are not there. That is not strength, that is denial. Instead, we observe them. We face them directly. Like a soldier who stands before a fire and does not run. We say, "I see you. I know what you are. But I will not act because of you. I will act in spite of you." That is the path of the Stoic. The truth is, emotions are natural. They are part of being human. But being ruled by them, that is a choice. Every time you feel anger, you have a moment, even if small, where you can choose. Do you speak the cruel word, or do you hold your tongue? Do you act from the pain, or do you let it pass through you like a wave? The wise man waits. He breathes. He questions his first thought, because he knows the first thought is often the weakest. The loudest part of the mind is not the strongest. Wisdom whispers. Emotion screams. And yet most people follow the scream. You don't have to be one of them. When you feel jealousy rise, ask yourself, what is this emotion trying to teach me? Is it that I want what they have, or that I have not yet given enough effort in my own path? When fear comes, ask, is this a real danger, or is it just my imagination feeding me shadows? When you begin to question your emotions, they lose their control over you. You are no longer a puppet. You become the master. Epictetus taught that we must separate what we can control from what we cannot. Our emotions are not outside us. But our responses, those are ours entirely. No one can make you angry. No one can humiliate you. They can try. They can speak. They can act. But how you receive it, that is yours alone. A Stoic is not cold. A Stoic is not numb. A Stoic feels deeply. But they do not allow those feelings to decide the course of their lives. There is a fire inside them, yes, but it is not wild. It is a fire under control. A fire that warms, not destroys. A fire that gives strength, not chaos. So, the next time you feel the wave rise, pause. Do not run from it. Do not drown in it. Stand firm. Watch it. Name it. And let it pass. Say to yourself, this is anger, but I am not anger. This is fear, but I am not fear. That voice, the one that remains calm while the world shakes, that is your true self. And remember this, there is no emotion more powerful than clarity. When your mind is clear, your soul is strong. And when your soul is strong, no storm can shake you. The battle is not to feel nothing. The battle is to feel and yet not fall. To see the chaos and still choose order. To hear the noise and still speak peace. The greatest warrior is not the one who fights others, but the one who fights himself and wins. This is what it means to go beyond emotion. This is how we rise above the noise. This is how we become free. You versus you. That is the only fight. And when you learn to master the storm within, nothing outside can ever defeat you again. You must understand this. Self-control is not a gift granted by luck or chance. It is not something we are born with fully formed. Self-control is a fortress built brick by brick, day by day. It is the most powerful shield we can wield against the chaos of the world and the storms raging inside our minds. Without it, we are like a ship without a rudder, tossed by every wave, lost in every storm. Think about a soldier preparing for battle. The soldier does not enter the fight untrained or unready. Every muscle, every breath, every step is practiced. The soldier builds strength, endurance, and focus. The soldier knows that without discipline, defeat is certain. So too must we prepare our minds. We must become warriors of the spirit, ready to face whatever life throws at us without faltering. Self-control is the root of all freedom. When we lack control over ourselves, we become prisoners of anger, fear, desire, and regret. These emotions enslave us, pulling us away from reason and peace. But when we master ourselves, we reclaim our liberty. We become the masters of our fate, no longer slaves to the whims of our feelings. The Stoics remind us that emotions are not to be destroyed or ignored but understood and guided. Anger, for example, is like fire. It can warm a home or burn it to ashes. If we let anger rule us, we become destructive. If we learn to control it, we turn it into a tool for protection and justice. This is true for all emotions. The fortress of self-control is not a cold wall but a living, breathing strength that allows us to stand firm without being broken. How do we build this fortress? By practicing small acts of control every day. When you wake up, do not let comfort dictate your choices. Rise with purpose. When you face a difficult task, do not run away. Confront it calmly. When you feel the urge to complain or give in to despair, pause. Breathe. Choose reason over impulse. Seneca, one of the great Stoic teachers, said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." This is the truth we must live by. Freedom begins within. It is the courage to say no to our weaknesses and yes to our higher selves. It is the willingness to endure discomfort now so that our future selves can be stronger. There will be moments when your fortress is tested, when anger rises like a storm, when fear whispers that you are weak, when temptation calls you to stray from your path. These moments are not signs of failure. They are opportunities to prove your strength, to prove that your will is stronger than your desires, to prove that your mind is steady like a mountain. Remember Marcus Aurelius' words, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Every obstacle you face inside yourself is a chance to build your fortress higher and stronger. Every challenge is a stone laid in your foundation. Do not expect your fortress to be perfect from the start. Like any great structure, it takes time to build. There will be cracks and weaknesses, but with patience and persistence, it will grow. And as it grows, so will your confidence. You will begin to see that the storms outside no longer shake you. The chaos no longer disturbs your peace. You have become unmovable. The true power of self-control is that it frees you from the tyranny of others and of chance. When you control yourself, you control your world. You become like a calm sea in the middle of a storm. The wind may rage, but the water remains steady. That steadiness is your victory. This fortress of self-control also teaches humility. It shows us that we are not perfect and never will be, but it demands that we keep trying. Each day is a new battle. Each moment a new choice, to give in or to stand firm, to weaken or to strengthen. The strength of the Stoic is not in never falling, but in rising every time. When destructive emotions crash against your walls, do not let them break you. Let them teach you where your defenses are weak. Let them guide you to rebuild stronger than before. In the end, the battle within is the only battle that truly matters. When you win it, you win everything. You become the captain of your soul, the author of your story. You walk through life with your head held high, not because the world bends to you, but because you have bent your own mind to wisdom. So train yourself. Build your fortress of self-control. Face each temptation, each fear, each anger with the calmness of a seasoned warrior. This is not weakness. It is the greatest strength you can possess. And as the great philosopher Epictetus taught us, no man is free who is not master of himself. Freedom is not outside. It is inside. Claim it. Fight for it. Live it. Imagine how often your mind shapes your world without you even realizing it. What you see, what you feel, even what you believe about yourself and others, it all depends on how you choose to look at things. This is no small truth. It is one of the greatest lessons you can learn on the path to inner strength. Because the way you perceive life is the power that decides whether you will be a slave to your emotions or a master of your soul. There is an old Stoic saying, "Things are not bad in themselves, but our opinions about things are." Think deeply about this. The world around you is neutral. It does not come with a label that says good or bad. Those labels are created in your mind, and it is your mind that decides how you will feel and react. The storms of anger, fear, sadness, these are born from your judgment, your view of what is happening. Change the way you see, and the storm can calm. When something difficult happens, a harsh word, a failure, a loss, the pain you feel is often not caused by the event itself, but by your thoughts about it. If you say to yourself, "This is unbearable," the suffering grows. But if you train yourself to see it differently, as a challenge to learn from, as a moment that will pass, or even as something beyond your control, then the power of pain begins to fade. This is not magic. This is mastery. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who ruled with wisdom, wrote in his journal about this very power. He reminded himself daily, "When you wake up, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They are like this because they cannot tell good from evil." Why would he do this? Not to become bitter or angry, but to prepare his mind. To see the world clearly, without false hopes or illusions. To understand that people act from their own weaknesses and struggles. And with this understanding, to face them calmly, without losing his own peace. This is the essence of perception, not to let illusions rule you, but to see things as they truly are. It is the difference between suffering and peace, between being controlled and being free. You cannot control the world, but you can control how you interpret it. Your mind is the gatekeeper of your reality. Now, imagine for a moment that your mind is a lens through which you view everything. If this lens is clouded by anger, fear, or judgment, everything you see will be dark and distorted. But if you clean this lens by training your mind to be calm, objective, and wise, you will see things as they truly are. This clarity is freedom. Epictetus, the great Stoic teacher born a slave, taught this lesson with great power. He said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This simple truth means you have the power to decide your feelings, no matter what the outside world throws at you. Your reaction is your own, and that reaction begins with how you see the situation. Consider this. Two people can face the same event, yet feel completely different about it. One might see failure as a dead end and fall into despair. The other might see failure as a step toward growth, an opportunity to learn and improve. Which one will live with more peace? Which one will move forward stronger? The difference is perception. Perception is not just about seeing the external world differently. It is also about how you see yourself. Many battles we fight come from the voice inside our own head. That voice can be harsh and cruel, full of doubt and fear. But you have the power to change that voice. You can choose to see yourself as capable, strong, and worthy. This is not false hope. This is reality waiting for you to claim it. Seneca, another great Stoic mind, said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Think about that. Often, the worst suffering comes not from what happens, but from what we imagine might happen, or how we tell ourselves the story of what happened. When you catch yourself imagining worst-case scenarios, remind yourself that you are painting a picture, not living it yet. Step back. Breathe. See clearly. The key to changing your perception is practice. Like any skill, it takes time and effort. The mind tends to follow old patterns, habits of worry, anger, or sadness. But with each moment you pause and choose a different view, you grow stronger. You train your mind to look for truth, not illusion. You learn to find calm in the chaos. This is not denial. It is not ignoring pain or problems. It is facing them head-on, but with a clear mind. A mind that understands what it can control and what it cannot. A mind that chooses where to place its energy. When you stop fighting the world and start mastering your perception, you stop being a victim of circumstances. You become the captain of your own ship. The power of perception also teaches us humility. We realize how little control we have over events outside ourselves. The weather, other people's actions, the past, none of these are ours to command. But our thoughts, judgments, and reactions are ours. They are the soil where freedom grows. When you feel overwhelmed, remember this ancient truth. The event itself is often neutral. Your mind gives it meaning. Change the meaning, and you change the experience. This simple shift is the foundation of resilience, peace, and true strength. So, when the world presses hard, when emotions rise like a storm, ask yourself, is this truly as terrible as I feel? Or am I adding a weight that is not necessary? Can I see this with calm eyes and meet it with courage? The answer lies within your perception. This is the power you hold, to shape your reality by how you choose to see it, to break free from chains forged by fear and false judgment, to stand firm, no matter what the outside world throws your way. Remember the words of Epictetus, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Mastery begins with perception, the choice to see clearly, to act wisely, and to believe in your own strength. In this battle, the greatest victory is not over others, but over the shadows in your mind. The path is hard. It requires patience and practice. But it leads to a life where you are no longer tossed by every wave, but stand steady like a rock in the storm. Hold fast to this truth. Perception is power, and power begins with you. Endure and transcend pain, adversity, and the will to rise. Pain is not an enemy. It is a teacher. Life will bring us pain, suffering, loss, and hardship. It is impossible to live without facing challenges that shake us to the core. Yet, the true measure of a person is not in avoiding pain, but in how they respond to it. The strength of the soul is tested when it endures what it cannot change and chooses to rise again. We often believe that pain is a sign of weakness. The Stoic knows otherwise. Pain reveals the opportunity to grow stronger, to build a fortress within that no outside force can destroy. We live in a world full of uncertainty. Nothing is promised. What we plan for, what we hope for, can be swept away in an instant. But there is one thing no one can ever take from us, our will. Our ability to endure, to keep standing no matter the storm. Marcus Aurelius faced wars, betrayal, and illness, yet he remained calm and steady. He wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This strength is not born from comfort, but from struggle." Think about a tree in a storm. The wind howls, rain lashes, branches break. Yet, the tree does not uproot because its roots grow deeper in the storm. This is the lesson for us. Every hardship is a chance to strengthen our roots, to deepen our foundation. We do not suffer pain because we are weak. We suffer pain because life is real, and real life demands real strength. Imagine yourself facing a great loss. It might be the loss of a dream, a loved one, or your health. The first feeling is often despair. It is natural, but despair is not the end. It is a moment that invites you to look within, to find what still remains. You still have your reason, your choice, your will, and these cannot be taken away. Epictetus said, "Difficulties show men what they are." This means pain reveals your true character. Not the character you show when things are easy, but the character forged in fire. We must remember that pain is temporary, but the lessons it teaches can last forever. When you endure pain without giving in to anger, fear, or despair, you train yourself in fortitude, the courage to stand firm. This courage is the shield that protects the soul. It is the silent strength that lets you move forward when the world seems to crumble. Many ask, "How can I be strong when everything hurts?" The answer lies in the way you see pain. Instead of seeing pain as punishment or defeat, see it as a signal that calls you to awaken your inner warrior. The Stoics called this strength apatheia, not numbness, but freedom from destructive emotions. It is a calm mind, able to face any challenge without losing itself. You must learn to control your thoughts about pain. If you think, "This is unbearable," then it will be. But if you say, "This is difficult, but I can bear it," then your mind becomes your ally. Seneca, another great Stoic, said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." This reminds us that our suffering is often created by the stories we tell ourselves. Change the story, and you change your experience. Endurance is not passive. It is an active choice. To keep going, even when you want to stop. To keep trying, even when failure seems certain. This is the essence of resilience. Every small step forward is a victory over despair. Every breath taken in the face of hardship is a declaration, "I will not be broken." Think of adversity as a mountain. From the base, it looks impossible to climb. But step by step, with patience and determination, you move higher. The view from the top is different because of the struggle. The struggle changes you. It makes you stronger, wiser, more alive. No one is born with this strength. It is built over time and moments of choice. When faced with pain, we can choose bitterness or acceptance. We can choose to let anger control us, or to control our anger. We can choose to give up, or to stand firm. The Stoic chooses to stand firm because they know their power lies not in what happens to them, but in how they respond. This power is not always loud or visible. It is often quiet, hidden deep inside. It is the voice that says, "I am still here." It is the calm in the storm. It is the refusal to let pain destroy your spirit. When you face adversity, ask yourself, "What can I control?" The answer is always your response. You cannot control the storm, but you can control the way you stand in it. The ancient Stoics trained themselves to see obstacles as opportunities. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This means every obstacle you face is not a wall but a path. This mindset transforms pain. It turns suffering into strength. It turns weakness into power. When you live this way, you become the master of your fate. You no longer fear hardship because you know it is part of your journey to greatness. Remember, the greatest victories are won not on battlefields, but in the mind. The battle within is the hardest, but also the most important. It is a battle you fight every day. Some days you win easily. Other days you barely hold on. But every day you fight, you grow stronger. So do not run from pain. Do not hide from suffering. Face them with courage. Let them teach you. Let them shape you. Let them make you unbreakable. You are not your pain. You are not your fears. You are the will that refuses to be defeated. You are the soul that stands tall when the world falls apart. This is the Stoic way to endure, to transcend, and to rise again. The mirror of virtue, living according to reason and nature. We live in a world full of noise of opinions, distractions, endless desires that pull us away from who we truly are. But what if the path to peace and power lies in something very simple? Something that doesn't depend on what others think or what fate throws at us. What if the answer is to live according to what is true and natural inside ourselves? This is what the Stoics taught long ago, to live in harmony with reason and nature, to be guided by virtue. Virtue is the highest good. It is not something outside, not fame, wealth, or pleasure. These things come and go, like shadows passing on a wall. But virtue qualities like wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control, these remain. They are the foundation of a strong, unshakable life. When you build your life on virtue, no storm can break you, no failure can defeat you. But what does it mean to live according to reason? To the Stoics, reason is what separates us from the chaos of the world. It is the light inside each of us, the guide that tells us how to act wisely. To live according to reason means to think clearly, to question your feelings before you let them control you, and to choose what is good rather than what is easy or tempting. It means to see things as they really are, without the cloud of anger, fear, or desire. Think about this. Every moment you have a choice. You can let anger rise and destroy your peace, or you can pause, breathe, and respond with calm. You can choose to complain about your fate, or you can accept it and make the best of what is given. This is the power of living with reason. It is not about being cold or unfeeling. It is about understanding yourself deeply and choosing what will bring you true strength. Living according to nature is another key part of this wisdom. But what is nature? It is the order of the universe, the way things are meant to be. The Stoics believe that everything happens for a reason. The seasons change, the stars move, and people face challenges. We are part of this great order, and to live well is to accept our place in it. Fighting against nature only brings suffering. This acceptance does not mean passivity. It means action with wisdom. It means knowing what you can control and what you cannot. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny, for what could more aptly fit your needs?" There is freedom in acceptance because it frees us from wasting energy on what we cannot change. Instead, we focus on what we can, our own thoughts, choices, and actions. When we live with virtue, guided by reason, and in harmony with nature, we become mirrors of truth. Others may try to shake us, but we remain steady. This steadiness is not weakness. It is strength born of deep understanding. It allows us to face loss, pain, and betrayal without losing ourselves. It makes us trustworthy, respected, and at peace. Justice, one of the four core virtues, teaches us to treat others fairly, to act with kindness even when no one watches. Courage is not only the bravery of battle, but the courage to be honest with ourselves and to do what is right, even when it is hard. Self-control keeps us from being slaves to fleeting pleasures or angry impulses. Wisdom helps us see the bigger picture and make good choices. These virtues are not just ideals, they are tools. Each day offers a new chance to practice them. When anger rises, choose patience. When fear threatens, choose courage. When temptation calls, choose self-control. Over time, this shapes who you are. Your character becomes your fortress. Remember Seneca's words, "Virtue alone is the highest good." What good is fame or riches if your soul is restless and weak? What value is comfort if it comes at the cost of your integrity? A life lived without virtue is like a ship without a rudder, lost in the storm. But a life lived with virtue is a life of purpose. It is a life where you are in control of yourself, not your circumstances. You become the master of your fate, calm in the face of chaos, strong when tested. This is the power of the Stoic path. It is not easy. It requires constant effort and reflection. You will stumble, you will feel pain, and sometimes doubt will creep in. But every day is a new chance to stand firm. To look in the mirror and ask yourself, am I living true? Am I acting with wisdom, justice, courage, and self-control? The answer lies within you, and with every honest answer, you grow stronger. The battle within is the greatest battle you will ever face. Win this, and no one can ever defeat you. There is a force inside each of us, quiet but powerful. It is the will to act, the choice to move forward even when the easier path calls us to rest or pleasure. Life offers many invitations to stray, to chase after what feels good in the moment, to avoid effort, to follow desires without thought. Yet the path of true strength is not the one paved with comfort and instant rewards. It is the path of purpose, of action grounded in reason and will. When we act without discipline, we become slaves to our impulses. The mind, uncontrolled, becomes a wild horse, pulling us in directions that lead only to regret. But when we act with discipline, every step we take is a step toward freedom from chaos, from distraction, from the endless tug of emotions that cloud our judgment. Consider the nature of pleasure. It is often loud, demanding, and fleeting. It promises happiness but rarely delivers lasting peace. The fleeting joy of indulgence disappears quickly, leaving a hollow space behind. True contentment cannot be found in the shifting tides of pleasure. It arises from living in accordance with reason, with values that do not bend to momentary whims. We must learn to choose, not blindly, not by habit, but with intention. When a desire arises, the question is not simply, can I have this? But rather, should I have this? Does this choice bring me closer to the person I want to become? This simple question is a powerful shield against the chaos within. It reminds us that not every impulse deserves a response. To live with discipline is to live as a craftsman shapes his work. Each action, no matter how small, builds the character we carry forward. We are not born perfect, but we are born with the capacity to grow through effort. The Stoics teach that virtue is our true good, wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. These are not distant ideals. They are the tools we use to carve order from the disorder of life. Sometimes, the pull of immediate pleasure is so strong that it seems impossible to resist. But remember the words of Seneca, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. The fear of missing out, the craving for comfort, the anxiety that whispers lies, these are shadows cast by the mind. When we face them with reason, we see them clearly and refuse to be deceived. Discipline is not punishment. It is a kind of freedom. When you choose purpose over pleasure, you take control of your destiny. You refuse to be tossed about by every passing whim. You say to yourself, I am the master here. This mastery is not about harshness or denial, but about respect for yourself and the life you wish to build. Every day, the world offers distractions. It offers the easy way out, the soft pillow, the quick escape. But each time you choose action rooted in purpose, you grow stronger. You prove to yourself that your will is greater than your desires. And this victory, though quiet, is the foundation of a life well lived. Think of the great men and women who came before us. They did not live in luxury or ease, yet they achieved greatness because they understood the power of disciplined action. They knew that every choice shapes destiny. Marcus Aurelius, writing amid the burdens of empire, reminds us that the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. When obstacles arise, they are not reasons to stop but reasons to grow. When you act with discipline, you become a force of nature, steady, purposeful, unyielding. Your mind does not chase after every passing feeling but holds firm to the values that guide you. You build a life not of chance, but of deliberate design. But do not mistake discipline for coldness. The Stoic path does not ask you to reject joy or passion. It asks you to live with harmony, to allow reason to guide the heart, and to find pleasure in the good that lasts. Real joy is not in fleeting indulgences, but in the satisfaction of a well-exercised, a purpose pursued, a challenge met with courage. You will find that the more you practice discipline, the more you appreciate the subtle beauties of life, the quiet moments of clarity, the strength born of hardship, the peace that comes when your actions align with your principles. Pleasure, when it comes, is sweeter because it is earned, not given. Remember, too, that discipline is a muscle. It grows with use. The first acts of self-control may feel hard, like lifting a heavy weight, but with time, they become easier. Each choice to act with purpose rather than impulse strengthens your character. This strength will carry you through storms of doubt, waves of fear, and the temptations that will always appear. In this journey, we are not alone. We share the same struggles, the same inner battles. But each of us has the power to say, not today. I choose my path. And that choice, repeated again and again, is the foundation of greatness. To act with discipline is to say yes to yourself, yes to your potential, your future, your higher self. It is to refuse to be a victim of circumstance or feeling. Instead, you become the author of your life story, writing each chapter with intention and courage. So, when you face your next decision, pause. Feel the pull of immediate pleasure. Hear the whisper of distraction. And then answer with clarity, I act for what truly matters. In that moment, you are free. Free from chains that bind. Free to become who you were meant to be. This is the discipline of action. The power to choose purpose over pleasure. The strength to live as a true master of yourself. We stand now at the edge of a great truth, a truth that has shaped the lives of those who walked before us, those who endured suffering, loss, and uncertainty, yet found a way to live with calm and strength. This truth is simple, but it demands everything from us. It is this: the only battle that truly matters is the battle within. It is you versus you. From the moment you wake until you lay your head to rest, your mind is a field of war. Thoughts rise like waves, some gentle, some violent. Emotions stir like fires: anger, fear, sadness, desire. These forces want your attention, your power. They try to pull you away from peace, from reason, from the path that leads to freedom. but you are not powerless. The power to choose your response, the power to decide who you become, lies always with you. Reflect for a moment on the great Stoics, who lived not in peaceful times but in the midst of chaos. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor who faced war and betrayal, wrote quietly to himself, "Remember, you have within you the strength to endure any hardship, to rise above every obstacle." Seneca, who suffered exile and misfortune, taught us that we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Epictetus, once a slave, declared, "No man is free who is not master of himself." These words are not mere philosophy. They are a guide for how to live when the world seems to collapse around you. They remind us that what destroys us is not what happens outside, but how we allow what happens to affect our minds. If you want freedom, if you want peace, then you must become the master of your own mind. Ask yourself, what is it that you truly fear? Is it failure, rejection, pain? These fears are shadows, illusions that grow larger only when you give them power. The moment you refuse to feed those fears, they shrink. When you choose to face them with courage, they lose their hold. Strength is born in the refusal to be controlled by what you cannot change. We often seek outside ourselves for happiness, approval, or validation. Yet, the Stoics remind us that true happiness comes only from within, from living according to your nature, with virtue and reason. You cannot control the opinions of others, the outcomes of events, or the twists of fate. But you can control your thoughts, your choices, your actions. This is your true power. Every day offers a test, a choice between surrendering to anger or responding with patience, between yielding to despair or standing firm with hope, between acting from impulse or acting from reason. These choices shape who you are. You are not your circumstances. You are your decisions. Do not be deceived by the ease of giving in. It is far easier to be carried away by emotion than to stand quietly in the storm. But it is in that quiet standing, that refusal to be moved by every wave, that real strength is found. This is the fortitude that builds a life worth living. Remember the words of Epictetus, "We are disturbed not by events, but by the views we take of them." Change your views, and you change your world. You do not have to be the victim of your thoughts. You can be the ruler of them. And yet, this mastery is not a sudden victory. It is a lifelong journey. The battle with yourself is never over because you are always changing, always growing. There will be moments of failure, moments when your old fears return. This is natural. What matters is how you respond. Each time you rise again, you grow stronger. Look within and see the vast potential that lies there, the power to remain calm in chaos, to be gentle in anger, to act wisely amid confusion. This power is your true self, your soul, your reason. It is the part of you no one can take away. So when you feel the storm raging inside, when the voices of doubt scream loudest, remind yourself, this is the fight that defines you. The fight to believe in yourself, to trust your reason, to master your emotions. No one else can do this for you. It is your path alone. And in that struggle, you are never truly alone. Every great mind, every brave soul who has ever walked this earth has faced the same battle. They struggled, they fell, they rose again. And so can you. The war within is not a curse, but a gift, the greatest gift life offers. It forces you to grow, to become more than you were yesterday. It strips away illusions and shows you what is real, your own strength, your own wisdom, your own power to choose. Let this be your quiet promise, to fight with honor, to stand with courage, to believe in the power of your own soul. Because in the end, the only true opponent is yourself, and the only true victory is self-mastery.